It's time to get out your cardigans and pullovers because this crisp fall weather demands a sweater and some hearty recipes that'll warm your soul. Today we're making a tater tot hot dish, a creamy, wonderful root vegetable gratin, and a spiced maple cake. These 3 dishes will save you money by using in-season ingredients in portions that you can eat all week. The days may be shorter, but don't let it get you down because everything's better in a sweater.
Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. We'll eat well and save money, because that's what we do. Welcome to Struggle Meals.
Tater tot hot dish. It's the ultimate comfort food when the weather is cold outside. Why? Because it's filling and it's easy to make. How do we improve it? By making it from scratch. Because with slightly more effort, we can get significantly more flavor and nutrition. So let me show you how to build the flavor that's gonna warm you up when you're wearing sweaters. We're gonna make the whole thing in a cast iron pan. Let's start warming it up. Let's cut an onion. Okay, this is the worst part. It's so easy, it brings tears to my eyes. Let's get some butter in our pan. All right, let's get our onions in there. Give these a little stir. We're gonna slice a whole bunch of mushrooms now. We're using mushrooms because it's the ultimate hack to stretch meaty flavor without using more meat. Mushrooms go in. We're gonna hit it with salt and pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. Let's head to the package drawer and get some red pepper flakes. Here we go. Red pepper flakes coming in. Let's stir this up real nice. The onions are starting to caramelize a little bit. I can smell the sweet sugars. Tater tot hot dish is a classic Midwestern comfort food. Hamburger meat, a lot of spices, tater tots, creamy canned soup. We're gonna come in with our ground beef. Another one of the reasons this is such an easy dish to make is because we're building flavor in a single cast iron pan. Now that the beef is browned, let's add some tomato paste. 2 tablespoons. Mixing this tomato paste in right now, working it throughout. Now let's add some flour. It is the most fantastic thickening agent. So work that flour in, and you can see right away everything becomes a little more dried. So we've got some beef broth here. It's time to drop the small amount of liquid to the party. Perhaps it's cowbell. We're dropping the cowbell. Ta, 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 bo, 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 bo. The only prescription I need is more cowbell. That little bit of flour we put in thickened that broth right away. Look at this, it's amazing. And this is exactly the kind of consistency we want in a hot dish. I don't want soup, I want casserole. Let's go to the package drawer to get some more flavor in the form of soy sauce. This is gonna give us salt. This is gonna darken the flavor. Smells great. The broth has been absorbed by the flour. We've got a nice thick consistency here. I'm killing the heat. Let's build the rest of this and get it in the oven. Peas and carrots. So these are frozen. I'm a big fan of small vegetables that have been frozen because they were picked at the ideal time of the year and they sit in your freezer waiting for you to say, use me. In fact, my bag of peas and carrots was saying, when I get older, I hope that I'm in a tater tot hot dish. Well, you have achieved everything you've ever dreamt of, peas and carrots. We're gonna add some cheese. This is cheddar. Buy it in block form. It's more affordable. It tastes better. And it's this cheese that's gonna make this tater tot hot dish super creamy and hearty. I wanna move this cheese around a little bit so it doesn't clump up and melt in one spot. We got cheese, we got beef, we have all these classic flavors in here. We're gonna make this extra creamy by adding sour cream. Here we go. This cooks out so well, it makes the texture of this whole thing even better. Sour cream's looking good. Let's just make a nice flat surface here. It ain't tater tot hot dish without tater tots. You just start working your way around the outside of the dish. These tots just go right on here frozen and then they get cooked in the oven. Our tater tot hot dish is all done. All we gotta do is get this into the oven and bake it for 25 minutes. Ooh. Smells great. Looks even better. Our hot dish is hot and it is ready to be dished. Got a little plate here, got a big spoon. Let's dig in. I wish you could smell this because it is absolutely glorious. Tater tots with a fantastic deconstructed hamburger filling. It only costs $2.25 a serving. Let's dig in. All right. I'm feeling warm from the inside out. you got that beefy, cheesy, creamy awesomeness on the bottom with golden brown, delicious tater tots on top. We made this from scratch, but it was still really easy. This is a crowd pleaser for sure. Is there anything better than cozying up under a warm blanket with a cup of hot chocolate? No way. I'm talking about real hot chocolate, made from scratch. It only takes a few minutes and a few ingredients to make the ultimate cozy drink. The first secret is to use milk. It makes your hot chocolate way creamier than using water. Heat it on medium-low, stirring it occasionally until you see little bubbles, but not a boil. Watch that milk closely. If it boils, it can curdle, and that'll give you a grainy texture. Now, you can sweeten it if you want. The next key for extra rich hot chocolate is to use real chocolate. You can use dark, bittersweet, semi-sweet, or even chocolate chips will do the trick. Roughly break up your chocolate into small pieces, add it into the hot milk, and whisk constantly. Now that you've got hot cocoa down, choose from an array of fun flavors and toppings. Keep it classic or jazz it up with extra flavor. Peppermint or vanilla to make it festive. Use cayenne or chili powder for a hot kick. Or cinnamon, nutmeg, or even a splash of coffee. My favorite secret ingredient is a pinch of salt. And don't forget the toppings, whipped cream or marshmallows, and a nice dusting of cocoa. Now you can enjoy my favorite fall-time beverage, anytime, anywhere. Just don't forget to wake me up before you cocoa. Don't go anywhere. More dishes that'll warm you to the core coming up after this. We're gonna make root vegetable gratin. This is the ultimate sweater weather dish. It takes advantage of all the root vegetables that are in season and abundant right now. And it's a fun way to eat a ton of vegetables and celebrate the colors of the autumnal rainbow. It's full of nutrients, it's beautiful, and it's affordable. Let's make it. So the first thing we gotta do is prep all these root vegetables. We got a rutabaga, we got a turnip, we've got a purple sweet potato, golden beets, red beets, regular potato, and then a sweet potato. Oh, look, my sweet potatoes are peeled. We're gonna slice all of our root vegetables into thin rounds. Try to make them as thin as you possibly can so that we can stack them and layer them in our gratin. I got all the vegetables prepped. Now I gotta work on my other components, and we're gonna start with the cream sauce. Fire, cream. Now, as we bring this cream up to temperature, we can add a bunch of flavors that will infuse it. 2 smashed cloves of garlic right into our heavy cream. Let's head to the package drawer to infuse even more flavor into our cream. Dijon and red pepper flakes. The mustard is gonna give us that much needed zing to cut through all this creaminess. Red pepper flakes. I think we could add even more flavor in the form of fresh herbs. I bought a plant. It's alive. I pick from it, it grows back. It's unbelievable. We got some thyme here. It's gonna be great. This is super classic and traditional cream sauces. We're gonna add some salt to the cream. We'll let that infuse. In the meantime, let's grate some cheese. Mozzarella is the most melty, cheesy cheese on the planet, but we can add even more flavor to it by adding some Parmesan. All right, we got our cream sauce over here, mixing around, looking real nice. Our veggies are ready. We got our grated cheese. Let's assemble. We're gonna hit the bottom of our pan with some olive oils. We've got all these colorful veggies, and we're gonna arrange them like a rainbow. We're gonna start with our reds and our purples. Let's hit it with salt and pepper. It's very important that we season every layer. Coming in with our cream sauce. Let's add the cheese. Now we're gonna put in some yellow beets, sweet potato. We've got rutabaga and we've got turnips. Add salt and pepper to this layer too. Let's sprinkle some cheese on top. Now we do potatoes as the top layer. Let's salt and pepper our potatoes. And the last bit of our cream. The rest of our cheese. And now it's time to cover this up and get it in the oven. Our oven's at 400 degrees. We're gonna bake this for 45 to 50 minutes. While that's baking, let's make a crispy topping that we'll finish the dish with. So we've got a bunch of panko breadcrumbs. Let's head over to the herb garden and get some parsley. Yeah, so green, so fresh. Chop up our parsley really finely. So I've got some melted butter here. This is gonna help brown the breadcrumbs. Take a spoon and mix it up real good. Yes. So this is totally cooked through. I'm gonna add my breadcrumbs right now, cook it for another 15 minutes. The reason we're adding this now is so the breadcrumbs don't burn. These are gonna add a beautiful textural variance. Back into the oven. So I've let this cool for about 20 minutes, and that means when we cut into it, the cheese won't just ooze out everywhere. It'll hold together nicely. Yes! It is so beautiful. There's no denying that this looks absolutely A+, extra credit, above and beyond teacher's pet. It is so awesome. Check out these layers. This is $2.52 a serving, and I'm excited to dig in. Let's do it. Oh. Ooh. This is one of the most delicious things we've ever made on Struggle Meals. It is cheesy. It's got a little zing from that mustard. And then you hit that crunchy topping we put on, and it is just a smorgasbord of things happening. Between the flavors and the colors and the texture, this one's definitely worth the effort. Don't go anywhere, because I've got a challenge coming up next. It's time for a struggle challenge. Let's see what you got for me today. I'm going to an autumn harvest dinner party, and I was asked to bring a vegetarian appetizer. What kind of dish might be good to serve lots of people and fit the theme? Do you have any suggestions? Suggestions is my middle name. Let's see what you got in the fridge. All right, we have a giant butternut squash. I think we cut it in half the long way, roast it on a sheet tray, pull that cooked meat out, and leave the skin behind. While it's cooking, I'll figure out what I'm gonna do because there's so many possibilities. Let's get started. Start on the fatter end here. Bite the knife in. Scoop all the seeds out. All right, we got a sheet tray. We got our butternut squash. 1, 2. We're gonna hit it with a little bit of oil to aid in the cooking. And then just salt and pepper into the oven. In the meantime, let's head over to the pantry and see what we can find. You know, the pasta always catches my eye, and I'm looking at some lasagna here. Let's see what we got in the fridge. Well, well, well. These are lasagna ingredients, let me tell you. Ricotta cheese, a little bit of parm, mozzarella. Let's grab some milk. When the squash is done, we can scoop it out and mix it with the ricotta cheese and do different layers in between these boiled lasagna sheets and bring a whole casserole over. And that doesn't really make it an appetizer. So let's take all these lasagna flavors and serve it in a chip and dip situation. We boil up these lasagna noodles, we cut out some little triangles, and then we can just bake them off with some oil. They'll harden, and then we can make a butternut squash cheese queso dip. So let me get some water on the stove and start boiling up these noodles. All right, let's salt this pasta water. Let's get a whole bunch of these noodles in here. What do you say? Let's pull these noodles out. I take the pasta out, I get it as dry as I possibly can. I cut them into little triangles. We got a sheet tray here. Let's hit it with some oil. I'll lay these in a nice manner, I think. I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of oil on top. Also, I'm gonna put these in the oven until they get nice and crispy like chips. We're gonna get some parm in a bowl. I'm gonna go on the finer side of the box here. That looks good. Squash is done. I've let it cool a little so I can handle it. I think we just start scooping the squash out right into our parm. Just come in with the spoon like this and right into the bowl. We got our squash with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Let's get a Struggle Whisk 7500, or in this case, a Struggle Masher 7500, and we'll see how smooth we can get. Let's start mixing this together. All right, that's looking pretty good to me, I feel like. We got our squash. Let's get some ricotta in here. Let's mix that around. Nice bright orange. Got some mozzarella cheese. So it's 3 cheeses and butternut squash. All right, let's see where we're at taste-wise then, yeah? Let's see. I think we could add some spices. How about a little cayenne and a little nutmeg? Zippity-doo-dah. Also working really nicely with our hue here. And we'll hit it with a little bit of nutmeg. I guess I'm gonna scoop this all into the pan and see how it starts to heat up. If it looks too tight, I'll add maybe a little bit of milk. Let's just warm it through and melt that mozz and see how it changes the texture. I'm gonna add a tiny bit of milk. So watch what happens here as I cut this milk through and it gets to the bottom. Yeah. Our pasta has gotten pretty brown. It's looking chippy, so let's pull it out. Woo-wee! Let's hit our chips with a little bit of salt while they're still hot, while they're oily. Super. Let's see what this dip's tasting like here. Let's mix a little olive oil in there too. Let's get it into a bowl. Little black pepper for some visual variance. So we've got two components here. We've got our pasta chips and we've got our dip. The pasta chips are looking pretty cool, I gotta say. They are glossy, they are hard, got a nice sound to them. We also have our butternut squash dip. I feel like the chips look great and the sauce doesn't look so great, but it could be a great sauce. So I'm giving this a passing grade on looks. It's getting a 7. So now let's see if this all holds up. What do you say? All right, let's give this a try now. The dip is pretty good. There's definitely an opportunity to add some more flavors that go really well with butternut squash here, but overall the flavors are good. And the chip is strong enough to pick up the whole thing. I'm gonna give it an 8 on flavor. 7 plus 8 is 15, it's a 75, it's a C. There's definitely room for improvement here, but I think this would be a delicious appetizer to take to a party. And I thank you for this challenge. Let's make maple cake. It's the perfect dessert for fall. It's got a buttercream on top with walnuts, and it uses maple syrup, which is a classic fall ingredient. This comes together pretty easily. Let me show you how to do it. We're gonna start with our dry ingredients. So we've got some all-purpose flour here. All right, we've got a little bit of baking soda here, and we also have baking powder. That was a lot of cool sounds, right? We're gonna get some really nice warming spices in here. The first one is cinnamon. We got some nutmeg here. Very festive. A little bit of salt. We're gonna take a struggle whisk 7500 and bring our dry ingredients together. Dry ingredients are looking great. We got another bowl here. Gee, it's really great that I took the butter out of the fridge. Now it's nice and soft. That'll be so convenient as I try to cream it with the sugar. So I've got my sugar right here. I'm gonna put it with the butter. And I'm gonna take a wooden spoon and try to bring these together as best I can into a buttercream. I'm using the Struggle Stand Mixer 4000 Human Edition. Ooh, this is coming together really nicely, look at that. It looks fantastic. Now we can add our other ingredients. Full-fat Greek yogurt gives us some nice body, a little bit of tang. We're gonna add in 3 eggs also. We've got to bring this together with a real whisk. So we'll break these yolks and we'll really try to incorporate this. If you have a stand mixer, this is the ideal time to use it. I'm gonna mix some maple syrup with milk. We're making maple cake. That means there's maple syrup in the cake. This is such an awesome fall flavor. And it's like science. If you put the maple syrup and the milk into the eggs and the butter won't be able to hold it. Everything will separate and it'll be very curdly. So now I'll combine some of the dry ingredients with some of our kind of wet ingredients. I'd say about 1/3 or so. Here, now we can start adding a little bit of our milk and maple mixture and not worry about the butter fats curdling. I'm alternating the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients, making sure that I incorporate each all the way before switching to the next. That looks good. We got a nice dish here. It's got some parchment paper coming up the side so we can pull the cake out. All right, we'll spread this out, get it to the corners nice. We're gonna put this in a 350-degree oven, and you'll know it's done when you stick a toothpick in the middle and it comes out completely clean. The cake is out of the oven, and so while it cools, I'm gonna work on the frosting. We've got room temperature butter, and we're gonna whip the butter together. Coming in with some brown sugar. Work that in. This is another opportunity to use an electric mixer if you've got one. Coming in with powdered sugar, quite a bit of it. Here we've got cream. And to keep the maple theme going, we're gonna hit it with a little bit of maple syrup as well. A classic fall flavor that's gonna pair perfectly with the spices in our cake. A little bit of salt coming in. And we've got an icing. Really nice. Holding its shape. Our cake is fully cooled, and now we can pull it out and ice it. Beautiful. You just kind of work it to the edges and then do these sort of swirls like this. Our icing is looking really good. Let's hit it with a little bit of cinnamon. And now we've got some chopped walnuts so that you can have some texture on there. This screams fall. We've got all these different shades of golden hue. The aromas are fantastic and spiced. Let's dig in. This looks fantastic. It's $1.04 a serving. All right. Really delicious cake. I'm loving the maple cinnamon with that hint of nutmeg. And then you got these walnuts on top, which give a nice little textural crunch to the perfectly hand-whipped frosting. Make this dessert, and you'll be cozy all season long. The seasons are changing, and today we saved some change by embracing fall's finest ingredients. These wholesome and hearty dishes paired perfectly with the brisk temperatures and the soft, gentle embrace of a sweater. Welcome to Frankie's Corner, where I answer your questions. When I try to make soups with cheddar cheese, the cheese always gets clumpy. What am I doing wrong? Sounds like your soup's probably too hot. Always turn off the heat before you add that cheese. In fact, you should probably add it just before serving.